People say a single moment can expose the truth about what someone really is. But Mia learned this the hard way on a night she would never forget. She had been awake since sunrise, her legs aching, her fingers numb from carrying trays, but she kept telling herself she needed this job more than anything. Rent was due in 3 days, her sick mother needed medicine, and tips were the only thing keeping them afloat. Yet, even with all her struggle, Mia still greeted every customer with a smile, because kindness was the only thing she could afford to give for free. The diner where she worked was old, its red neon sign flickering like it might give up any moment, just like she sometimes felt she would. It was late evening, rain tapping against the windows, and only a few customers sat inside. At the far table sat a group of 3 wealthy-looking women dressed in expensive jackets and glittering jewelry. Their perfume alone probably cost more than Mia made in a week. Mia approached their table politely, pen and notepad ready, doing her best to hide the exhaustion behind her soft smile. But the moment she spoke, one of them looked her up and down slowly with a twisted smirk. "Is that what they call service here?" The woman said loudly enough for everyone to hear. Mia froze for a moment, her heart dipping. I'm sorry, ma'am. How can I help you?" she asked gently. The second woman laughed under her breath and leaned back in her chair. "I'm surprised they still hire people like you. Do you even know how to carry a simple order?" Mia swallowed, forcing her composure to stay intact. "Yes, ma'am. What would you like to have tonight?" The first woman snapped her fingers, making Mia flinch. "We're still deciding. Maybe bring us water, if you can handle that much." The 3 women burst into laughter, while Mia walked toward the kitchen, cheeks burning with embarrassment. She placed the glasses on a tray, but her hands were shaking. Insults didn't normally break her. She had grown up with hardship, but tonight, she felt particularly fragile. Maybe it was the long hours. Maybe it was her mother's worsening health. Maybe it was just that she had given everything and still wasn't enough for people. As she carried the tray back to their table, the women continued whispering and smirking. Mia set the glasses down carefully, but one of the women shoved her handbag aside at that exact moment, making one glass tip and spill a little water. "Unbelievable!" the woman shouted, slamming her hand on the table as if Mia had committed a crime. "Can't you do anything right?" The entire diner went silent. Mia lowered her head, murmuring an apology, her lips trembling slightly. She reached for napkins, trying to clean the small mess, but the woman pushed her hand away. "Don't touch me," she snapped. "You're pathetic." Mia backed away slowly, tears gathering but refusing to fall. She couldn't cry here. She couldn't let them see how deeply their words cut. She hurried behind the counter, pretending to check orders, pretending she wasn't breaking inside. The manager saw everything but pretended not to. This was normal for him, customers first, no matter how cruel they were. Mia inhaled shakily, trying to calm herself, when the door suddenly swung open and the bell above it chimed loudly. Heavy boots stepped inside. The cold rush of outside air filled the diner. Mia glanced up. 4 motorcycle riders walked in, big, intimidating men in leather jackets, their helmets tucked under their arms. The wealthy women immediately stiffened, whispering nervously to each other. The riders looked rough, but not angry, just tired from the cold. They took a booth near the window, and Mia forced her emotions aside to greet them. "Good evening," she said softly, hoping her voice didn't sound as cracked as she felt. The man at the front, broad-shouldered with a calm expression, looked at her closely. Not in a judging way, more like he could see what she had been through in the last few minutes. "Rough night?" he asked gently. Mia blinked, startled. I'm fine," she whispered. The man exchanged a knowing look with his group but said nothing more. They placed their orders respectfully, thanking her every time she came by, treating her with a level of kindness she wasn't used to. As she walked back toward the counter, the group of wealthy women began mocking her again, louder this time, purposely trying to embarrass her. Mia clenched her jaw and kept walking, but her steps faltered slightly. What she didn't know was that the riders had heard every word. And they weren't the type to ignore cruelty, especially toward someone who clearly didn't deserve it. The leader of the riders looked at Mia, then at the women, his jaw tightening. He set his helmet on the table and stood up slowly. What happened next would change Mia's entire life. The diner seemed to hold its breath when the rider stood up. His boots echoed softly against the old floor tiles as he walked toward the table where the 3 wealthy women sat. Mia's heart jumped in panic. She didn't want trouble. She didn't want anyone fighting because of her. She moved quickly from behind the counter, shaking her head slightly, but the man stopped her with just a calm look that somehow reassured her. "Relax," he murmured. "I'm not here to make it worse." Then he turned his attention to the women. "Excuse me," he said, voice steady but strong enough to command the room. The women looked up, startled. One of them raised her chin, trying to act braver than she felt. "Can we help you?" she asked sharply. The man crossed his arms. Yeah, you can start by speaking to the waitress with some respect. The woman scoffed, rolling her eyes. This is none of your business. It became my business, he replied, the moment you decided to insult someone who's just trying to work. The entire diner fell silent. A couple eating in the corner turned to watch. The manager peeked out from the kitchen, unsure whether he should step in. The lead woman let out a mocking laugh. Who do you think you are? She asked. The man leaned forward slightly. Someone who doesn't tolerate cruelty. The woman's face reddened. She spilled water on me. Because you shoved your bag into her hand, he countered calmly. I saw everything. The other women shifted uncomfortably, suddenly shrinking back. The lead woman tried to regain her arrogance. She's just a waitress. The writer's jaw tightened, and he spoke firmly. She's a human being. Start acting like one yourself. The words hit the woman harder than she expected. She opened her mouth to argue, but no sound came out. She looked away instead, her pride cracking under the weight of her own behavior. Her friends stared at the table, embarrassed. The writer didn't push further. He simply walked back to his booth, picking up the menu as if the matter were settled. But for Mia, it wasn't. Her eyes stung with tears she could no longer hold back. Not because she felt weak, but because for the first time, someone had stood up for her. Someone had seen her struggle. Someone had cared. She approached the writer's table slowly. You didn't have to do that, she whispered. Yes, he replied softly. I did. His voice carried warmth, not pity. People like you hold the world together, showing up, working hard, taking care of others. People like them ruin it. Someone needs to remind them. Mia pressed her lips together, unable to speak for a moment. Thank you, she finally managed, her voice trembling. The writer gave her a gentle smile. What's your name? Mia, she replied. I'm Aaron, he said. Nice to meet you. For the first time that night, Mia smiled genuinely. She brought their food shortly after, and as the writers ate, they continued thanking her and treating her with a level of kindness she had forgotten existed. Meanwhile, the wealthy women avoided eye contact with everyone, finished their meal quickly, and walked out without another word. The moment the door shut behind them, Aaron called Mia over. Sit for a second, he said, sliding to the edge of the booth. She hesitated. I can't. I'll get in trouble. You won't, Aaron replied confidently, glancing at the manager, who immediately pretended to be busy flipping pages on a clipboard, clearly intimidated. Mia slowly sat down, tightening her apron nervously. Why were they so cruel to you? Aaron asked gently. Mia shrugged. Some people think having money means they can treat anyone however they want, and you just take it? He asked, not judgmental, just curious. If I argue, Mia said quietly, I lose my job. And if I lose my job, I lose my home. And my mom's medicine. Aaron's expression softened. You're carrying a lot alone. Mia sighed, staring at her hands. Some nights feel impossible. Aaron exchanged a look with his fellow writers. One of them nodded slightly, as if they had silently agreed on something. Aaron turned back to Mia. What if things didn't have to stay this way? Mia blinked, confused. What do you mean? Aaron reached into his leather jacket and pulled out a folded paper. He placed it on the table in front of her. Mia slowly unfolded it and gasped. It was a job flyer for a new cafe opening just 2 blocks away, offering twice her current pay, health benefits, and flexible hours. I know the owner, Aaron said. He's a good man. He needs someone responsible. Someone kind. Someone like you. Mia felt her heart race. I can't just get hired like that. You can, Aaron said softly. Because he trusts my word. And I trust you. Her eyes filled with tears again, but this time they weren't from pain. They were from a hope she hadn't felt in years. Why are you helping me? She whispered. Aaron smiled warmly. Because you deserve better? And because good people shouldn't suffer alone. Mia covered her mouth, overwhelmed. For the first time in a long time, she felt seen, valued, protected. When the writers finished their meal, Aaron stood up and placed a generous tip on the table, more than she made in an entire week. Mia stared at it, speechless. Take it, Aaron said softly. Tonight, everything changes. He walked toward the door, helmet under his arm. Before leaving, he looked back at her one last time. You're stronger than you think, Mia. Don't forget that. And with that, the writers stepped into the night, the door closing behind them. Mia stood there, holding the flyer to her chest, knowing her life had just been rewritten by the kindness of strangers who saw her worth even when she didn't.